My first encounter with tent structures was back in, I believe, 2012, when I was doing my master's thesis. And the thesis was done in Beirut, Lebanon, and I was working basically on a revival project of one of the districts that got bombarded in 1972, 1976. But it's not about that. I remember back then thinking that it's pretty simple to create a tent structure, right? You just take a piece of fabric, you tension it between a few pillars, and there you have it, a tent structure. That was until I actually had to design one, right? Apparently tensile structures are pretty damn hard. Even at this day and age, when we have all of the nice simulation and computational design tools to take care of the form finding bit. So just imagine trying to do it in the 60s with nothing except for a bit of soap, some water, and hell of a lot of skill. Well, then you're Frei Otto. Frei Otto was an influential figure in the field of architecture, known for his pioneering work in lightweight structures and tensile architecture. He was awarded the Pritzker Prize in 2015. Sadly, this was done after he was already dead, or I should probably say passed away. The guy used soap bubbles and a piece of string to calculate how tensile structures would reach their minimal surface equilibriums, which, I mean, that's pretty sick, isn't it? But anyway, let's talk about the cool building that I like. One of the coolest buildings that Frei Otto has designed and built was the German Pavilion that was built in 1967 Expo in Montreal. And just a general note about the Expo, the 1967 Expo in Montreal, it was insane. Buckminster Fuller showed off his dome, Moshe Safdie presented his Habitat 67, and also Frei Otto whipped out his tent. I mean, damn, what a year. Anyway, this pavilion is a lightweight structure made of steel cables and transparent polyester fabric. After the fair has ended, it got dismantled, so unfortunately we only have images and a few videos to look back at. And coming back to Pavilion, it was one of the first tests for the so-called soap bubble model method. If you fix the boundary of a surface to a specific set of points and submerge it into like soapy water, once you pull it out, a soap film will form or will stretch over the boundary in a shape that has the least surface area, which is called the minimal surface, right? So this has become a premise for many of Otto's projects. This approach made it so you could cover extremely large areas with a pretty damn low amount of material. And if I'm not mistaken, the pavilion covered an area of 8,000 square meters, or what's that in feet? Like 85, somewhere between 85,000 and 90,000 square feet, which, as you can probably tell, that was really large for a pavilion. This means that the price per square meter of construction was really low. Important. Also, they built the whole thing in only 6 weeks. 8,000 square meters in 6 weeks. That is absolutely insane. The structure is pretty straightforward. You have 8 steel columns. They are stabilized with these kind of brace cables. In between the columns, you tension a metal mesh web, and on top of which you layer a polyester cover, right? Elegant things are usually pretty damn simple. The question is, how do you make this kind of form climate controlled? And well, the answer is you don't. Looking at the drawings, you can clearly see that the roof structure was built as more like a cover from the rain and wind, but the actual climate control was handled by quite a boring box underneath it. And I actually want to touch upon this a little bit. Not everything needs to be special in a building. There needs to be a focal point, right? And in this case, it's the cover. Thus, all the bridges, all volumes, everything that the cover covers is typically unnecessary to, over design. It needs to be like everyday, casual, right? I think that's a nice interplay between the standard and the strange. This building actually reminds me of another cool building that I like, which I have already covered on this channel in a previous video, the Abu Dhabi Louvre. While I like these two for completely different reasons, they do share the exact same concept. A small city covered over a very fancy blanket. Perhaps there's a pattern to the things that I like. Perhaps there is. Oh, and I should note that this pavilion has quite a few siblings that you can still visit. For example, the Munich Zoo Aviary. Look at this picture. Just look at it. Now that's what I call low impact, lightweight structure. Or the Munich Olympic Stadium. That one's pretty heavy duty, honestly. The form of these tents is completely driven by forces, which is actually how nature designs. Maybe that's why they seem so natural and so organic. I'll see you in the next one. Later. Oh, and if you enjoyed these videos, please leave a like, please subscribe, leave a nice comment. I definitely read all the comments. I enjoy reading the comments. I enjoy replying to comments. So please do that. Now we're done. Now it's done. Bye. Bye.